The scene opens in a massive, cold chamber deep in space, where the Galactic Council gathers. This powerful group of alien civilizations rules over vast parts of the galaxy. Their members come from distant worlds, their ships and technology beyond anything humans could imagine. The room is sleek and futuristic, with floating holographic screens displaying data on Earth. Alien leaders, each with their unique features, stand before a long, round table, discussing their plans to conquer humanity. They are calm, confident, and completely dismissive of the Earthlings. To them, humans are nothing more than a primitive species with little to offer the galaxy. Commander Vark, a tall, imposing alien with glowing blue skin and sharp features, stands up and addresses the room. His voice echoes through the chamber, confident and mocking. Humans. A species that still uses primitive weapons and lives on a dying planet. Do they really think they can challenge us? He chuckles, causing some of the other council members to laugh along. Their weapons are outdated. Their armies are weak. They are far from any serious threat. The other council members nod in agreement, their eyes focused on the holographic display showing Earth and its colonies. They talk casually about their plans, how they will invade Earth, destroy its defenses, and force humanity into submission. There is no doubt in their minds, Earth's civilization is too backward to withstand the might of the Galactic Council. Commander Vark presses a button on the table, and a new hologram flickers to life, showing images of Earth's cities and military forces. These humans are nothing but insects. It will be a simple matter to crush them beneath our heel. Their potential is nothing more than a fleeting dream. But as Vark speaks, one of the alien leaders, a quiet, observant figure named Ashra, raises a hand. Are we truly sure of this, Commander? I've been monitoring Earth for some time. They have begun to show signs of unexpected strength. Vark scoffs, dismissing her concerns. You worry too much, Ashra. The humans will bow to our might. I guarantee it. As the council members continue their discussion, the camera pulls back from the dark chamber, focusing on Earth far below. The aliens are unaware of what's been happening behind their backs, far from their eyes in a secret underground facility on Earth. Deep below the surface, in an isolated lab, a group of human soldiers are being prepared for something the Galactic Council could never predict. Captain Eli Harris, a tall and strong human with short, dark hair, stands in front of a group of military officers. He wears a black military uniform, but something about him is different. His eyes hold a sense of determination and readiness. The room around him is filled with high-tech equipment, the air humming with the quiet buzz of machines working in sync. His soldiers stand at attention, ready to hear what their mission will be. Gentlemen, Eli begins, his voice calm but serious, you've been selected for this mission because you are the best of the best. But we're not just here to fight. You've all been chosen because of the work we've done here. You've been altered, enhanced beyond what you once were. This isn't about technology, this is about something much more powerful. The soldiers exchange glances, unsure of what he means. Eli continues, his voice unwavering. You've been genetically enhanced. Your bodies are stronger, faster, and more resilient than anything the enemy could ever imagine. But there's more. Your mind and your instincts will allow you to tap into powers that we've only begun to understand. And that, gentlemen, is our greatest weapon. The soldiers remain silent, their eyes wide with a mix of awe and fear. They've heard rumors about these enhancements, but hearing Eli confirm them makes it real. We're not just going to fight back, Eli says, his gaze firm. We're going to win. And the aliens won't know what hit them. Unbeknownst to the Galactic Council, Earth has secretly been preparing a force unlike any the galaxy has seen. The humans may be primitive in the eyes of the Council, but what the aliens don't realize is that Earth holds a secret so powerful, it could turn the tide of an impossible battle. And at the center of that secret is Captain Eli Harris and his team of genetically altered soldiers. The Galactic Council, with all its advanced technology and confident plans, continues to underestimate humanity. Commander Vark and his fellow leaders are too sure of their victory. They see the humans as nothing more than a nuisance. But as their ships prepare to leave their station and head toward Earth, something stirs deep beneath the surface of the planet, a force that the Galactic Council has overlooked. This is no ordinary force. These are humans who will not bend. As the story progresses, the audience is left on edge, wondering what this secret power is, and how it will change the course of the war. Earth is no longer the underdog they once thought it was. In the quiet of the underground lab, Eli Harris's team readies themselves for what is about to come, an invasion that will test everything they have. But they are prepared. They have the strength, the power, and the will to fight. The Galactic Council may have underestimated the power of humanity, but they will soon learn that even the most advanced civilizations are no match for a force that refuses to be conquered. The tension in space is palpable as the Galactic Council's invasion force moves toward Earth. Their fleet of technologically advanced warships, sleek and deadly, streaks across the stars. Each ship is a marvel of alien engineering, holographic shields, energy weapons, and battle drones that can wipe out entire cities with a single strike. The humans have no idea what is coming. Earth's colonies are scattered, vulnerable, and unprepared for the might of such a technologically superior force. As the alien ships descend upon Earth's colonies, they unleash hell. Cities are flattened by orbital bombardments, space stations are torn apart by energy beams, and the cries of thousands echo through the devastation. The colonies try to fight back with what little they have, but they are overwhelmed by the sheer power of the alien fleet. It's clear that the humans are outmatched. Back on Earth, in a secret underground facility, Captain Eli Harris's eyes snap open. He is surrounded by darkness, his body encased in a cryosleep pod. He's been frozen for months, kept in suspended animation, hidden away from the alien threat. But now, with the invasion underway, the time has come for him to awaken. As the pod opens, Eli sits up slowly, his body aching as the cold melts away. He's been genetically enhanced, his muscles stronger, his reflexes faster than a normal human's. The enhancements have been designed for battle, to help humanity stand a fighting chance against the technologically superior aliens. Eli's eyes focus, his mind coming into sharp clarity as he takes in the situation around him. The battle for Earth has already begun, and it's a fight for survival. He's rushed to the front lines, where the human forces are already engaged in combat. The sight that greets him is chaos. Explosions fill the air, and alien warships loom overhead, raining down fire on the human forces below. The air is thick with smoke and debris. Eli's heart pounds in his chest as he feels the rush of battle. He knows that his team is about to face the impossible, but his mind is set. This isn't just about defending Earth, it's about humanity's survival. Eli's team is a special unit, made up of soldiers who have been trained and genetically enhanced for this very moment. They're ready to fight. They've been waiting for this, knowing that the aliens were coming, but they didn't know the invasion would be this brutal, this overwhelming. With every passing minute, the human soldiers are pushed back further. Despite their bravery, they are no match for the superior alien technology. The invaders seem unstoppable. As the battle intensifies, Eli's genetic modifications begin to take effect in ways that no one expected. His senses sharpen to an incredible degree. His reflexes are lightning fast. And then, he feels something strange. A pulse of energy surges through his hand. His fingers begin to glow, the power building within him. In that moment, he realizes he can channel energy from within himself, directing it into powerful blasts of force. He can feel the power surge in his veins, and without thinking, he raises his hand and releases a massive energy blast toward an approaching alien warship. The blast hits its target, and the ship explodes in a shower of debris. The alien forces are stunned, unable to comprehend what just happened. For a moment, the human soldiers stop in their tracks, staring in disbelief at Eli. His hand is still glowing with energy, and his eyes burn with fierce determination. His enhanced abilities have given him a power that the aliens were not prepared for. The battle rages on, but Eli's presence on the battlefield shifts the momentum. With every blast, the aliens begin to question the humans' true strength. Eli's team, emboldened by his actions, fights with renewed vigor. They push back the alien forces, slowly but steadily making ground. But despite their success, the cost of this battle is immense. In the heat of the battle, as the alien forces continue their relentless assault, tragedy strikes. Sergeant Bonner, one of Eli's closest friends and most trusted soldiers, is caught in an explosion. The blast throws him across the battlefield, his body mangled beyond recognition. Eli rushes to his side, but it's too late. Bonner is gone. Grief overwhelms Eli, but it's quickly replaced by a surge of rage. Bonner's death is a painful reminder of the brutal reality of this war. He's not fighting for glory or fame, he's fighting for the lives of his people. Bonner's sacrifice fuels Eli's resolve. He won't let this battle be in vain. The pain in his chest is unbearable, but he channels it into a burning desire for revenge, for justice. The loss of Bonner drives Eli forward. His hands tremble, but his heart is full of determination. He and his team rally, knowing that they can't afford to lose. The battle isn't over yet. With every blast of energy, Eli takes out alien soldiers, destroying their weapons and ships. His powers are growing stronger with each use, and soon, it's clear that the humans have something the Galactic Council didn't anticipate: human willpower, courage, and determination. Despite the overwhelming odds, Eli and his team manage to hold the line, pushing back the alien forces for a time. But the victory comes at a heavy cost. Bonner's death weighs heavily on Eli, but it also gives him the strength to continue fighting, knowing that he must carry on in his friend's honor. As the first assault reaches its peak, the aliens realize that they've underestimated humanity. They've seen the power of Eli's energy blasts, and they know that the human soldiers, though outmatched technologically, have something that they can't replicate: raw, untamed human will. The invasion is far from over, but Eli's actions have ignited a spark in the hearts of the human soldiers. They now know they can fight back, and they will. The battle has only just begun, but the first assault has shown the aliens that Earth's true strength lies not in its technology, but in the indomitable spirit of its people. And that spirit will be what drives them to victory, no matter the cost. In a top-secret laboratory hidden deep beneath the surface of Earth, Captain Eli Harris undergoes intense observation. The war against the Galactic Council has escalated quickly, and humanity's best hope now lies in the unique powers Eli has started to unlock. His body, enhanced with cutting-edge genetic modifications, has become a focal point for a power that is far beyond what anyone expected. Eli stands in the center of the lab, his eyes focused intently on his hand. The energy within it pulses and hums, as though it has a life of its own. It's a strange sensation, almost like his hand is connected to the very air around him. For the first time, Eli feels that this power is more than just an enhancement. It is a part of him, a part of humanity, something that has been lying dormant in the human body for centuries, waiting to be awakened. The scientists around him observe in awe, taking careful notes on their data pads. They've seen Eli's ability to harness energy before, but they never imagined it could grow into something like this. What was once a simple weapon, a way to channel energy blasts, has now become something much greater. His hand isn't just a tool, it is a focal point for the untapped potential of human biology. The scientists begin to hypothesize that Eli's powers are connected to a deeper, more profound biological secret. He is no longer just a genetically enhanced soldier, he's a human weapon capable of channeling and manipulating energy in ways that defy everything the Council's technology can do. His very biology has become an instrument of war, turning him into a one-man army capable of fighting back against the most advanced war machines the galaxy has ever seen. As Eli practices with his powers, he feels a growing connection to the energy around him. The more he focuses, the stronger the energy blasts become, and soon, he's able to direct the power with pinpoint precision. He can unleash devastating waves of energy, take down entire squads of alien soldiers, and even damage the alien warships in ways that no human weapon ever could. The potential for destruction is limitless, and with every passing day, Eli feels more and more invincible. Meanwhile, back in the vast, gleaming halls of the Galactic Council's headquarters, Commander Vark paces back and forth, his mind racing. His spies, who had been monitoring Earth's colonies, have reported something strange, unexplained energy signatures emanating from Earth. At first, he dismissed it as a glitch or an anomaly, but as more reports came in, he realized something far more troubling. These signatures didn't match anything in the Council's vast database. They were unlike any form of energy they had encountered before, and they were coming from a human world, Earth. Vark's brow furrows in disbelief. He leans over a holographic display, examining the energy readings. The power is immense, far beyond anything that humanity should be capable of. In his mind, the thought is unthinkable: could one human be wielding such a force? It doesn't make sense. The humans are primitive. Their technology is basic compared to the might of the Galactic Council. And yet, this energy, this raw power, seems to be emanating from one of them. Vark orders his most trusted spies to investigate further. He demands that they locate the source of these energy bursts. As the spies gather information, they discover the impossible truth: the human responsible for these energy signatures is none other than Captain Eli Harris. The same soldier who had made an unexpected impact on the battlefield with his strange powers. It's him, a human soldier with powers the likes of which the Galactic Council has never encountered. The realization hits the Galactic Council like a shockwave. They've underestimated humanity's potential, and now one human has proven capable of wielding a power that could threaten the very foundation of their empire. The Council, accustomed to ruling through sheer technological dominance, has never faced a threat like this before. For the first time, they feel the sting of vulnerability. In a tense emergency meeting, the Council's leaders debate what to do. Commander Vark, still in disbelief, insists that they must send an elite task force to Earth to eliminate the human anomaly. He argues that this power, if left unchecked, could spell the end of the Council's supremacy. The Council's war machines, advanced as they are, might not be enough to defeat this new force. They've never fought an enemy like this before, and the very idea of a human wielding such power shakes them to their core. But not all of the Council's leaders agree. Some propose that they might be able to use Eli as a weapon, forcing him to fight for the Council in exchange for promises of power and control. Others suggest that they can learn from his biology, harvesting his genetic secrets to create an army of enhanced soldiers. After all, if one human could tap into this power, perhaps they could make an entire race of humans capable of such feats. But Vark remains adamant. He knows the danger this presents. If Eli continues to refine his powers, if he is allowed to grow stronger, he could become a threat not just to the Council, but to the entire galaxy. With a decisive tone, Vark orders his elite task force to prepare for a covert mission to Earth. Their objective is simple: eliminate the human anomaly before it's too late. Back on Earth, Eli continues to train and hone his powers. Each day, he becomes more skilled in harnessing the energy within him. He's no longer just a soldier, he's something greater, something more powerful. But even as his powers grow, he knows that the battle for Earth is far from over. The Galactic Council has noticed him, and soon, they'll send everything they have to stop him. Eli is ready. He knows that the future of humanity rests on his shoulders. His powers may have started as a weapon, but now they're a symbol of hope for the human race. As the Council prepares to send its elite task force to eliminate him, Eli prepares for the ultimate fight of his life. The revelation of his true power has only just begun. The atmosphere was thick with tension as Captain Eli Harris and his team of enhanced soldiers were deployed for a high-stakes mission, to destroy a massive alien warship that had been hovering above Earth, threatening the last bastions of humanity's resistance. At first, it seemed like a routine operation, a rescue mission to free some survivors trapped on a distant moon. But Eli knew this mission would be different. The stakes were higher than ever, and the fate of the human race rested on their success. As the team descended toward the alien warship, everything seemed calm. Eli's soldiers were well trained and prepared for what was to come. They had trained for this very moment, knowing they would be outmatched by the advanced alien technology. But Eli had something that no alien force had counted on: his unique, rapidly evolving powers. The warship, a colossal fortress in orbit, loomed large in front of them. The alien fleet in the distance appeared menacing, waiting for any sign of resistance. Eli's team deployed swiftly, taking up strategic positions around the warship, ready to make their move. The first wave of the operation went according to plan. The team moved quietly, neutralizing enemy patrols and securing key points on the warship. However, things took a turn for the worse when Eli reached the core of the alien ship. His hand, still glowing with energy, began to surge with power. As Eli concentrated, he could feel the energy building inside of him, growing more intense with every passing second. The very air around him crackled with electricity. His hand had evolved to an entirely new level, becoming a channel for destructive energy that was beyond his control. In that instant, without hesitation, Eli raised his hand and unleashed a blast of concentrated power toward the alien warship. The explosion was cataclysmic. A shockwave rippled through space, causing an entire section of the alien fleet to disintegrate in a blinding flash of light. The force of the explosion was so powerful that it was visible from Earth, a massive burst of light that blotted out the stars, leaving a deep imprint in the sky. It was a statement to the Galactic Council: humanity was no longer defenseless. Back at the Galactic Council's command center, Commander Vark and his advisors watched in stunned disbelief as the shockwave from the explosion reached their sensors. They were paralyzed by the sheer scale of the destruction. How could this be? The humans were supposed to be weak, their technology primitive. And yet, here was undeniable proof that one human, one soldier, had the power to obliterate a portion of their fleet with a single strike. Vark's mind raced. The implications of what had just happened were catastrophic for the Council. He had always dismissed humanity as a fleeting nuisance, but this blast, this power, was something they couldn't ignore. It was a weapon that could turn the tide of the war in an instant. In that moment, Vark realized the truth: humanity had found something far more dangerous than any weapon they had anticipated. But the victory was short-lived. As Eli and his team regrouped, the alien forces began to retaliate with relentless force. Alien warships, equipped with advanced weapons, launched a brutal orbital bombardment aimed directly at Earth's remaining defenses. The sky above became filled with explosions, as enemy ships unleashed an unyielding barrage of missiles and energy blasts. The once hopeful team of soldiers found themselves in the eye of the storm. The bombardment was overwhelming, and Eli's team struggled to stay on their feet as the alien ships rained destruction down on them. The sheer scale of the assault was unlike anything they had ever faced. The warships unleashed devastating volleys of plasma missiles, and the surface of the warship began to crumble under the weight of the bombardment. The soldiers scrambled to take cover, moving between the warship's wreckage as explosions rocked the battlefield. Despite the chaos, Eli's powers were their only saving grace. His glowing hand crackled with energy, and he began to fight back, channeling his strength into devastating energy blasts. With each shot, he struck down enemy ships in mid-air, tearing through their armor and turning them into debris. The more Eli unleashed his power, the more he understood his abilities. His hand could release enormous amounts of energy, enough to cripple entire warships. But as the enemy forces grew stronger, the toll of using such devastating power began to take its toll on him. In the midst of the chaos, Eli's mind flashed back to Sergeant Bonner's death. It had been a hard loss for him, the closest friend he had in this brutal war. Bonner's sacrifice was not in vain, but every time Eli unleashed his power, he saw his friend's face, haunting him, reminding him of the cost of their survival. Eli had always been a soldier, but now he was something else entirely. His abilities had grown so powerful that he was the spearhead of humanity's last stand. But with that power came the responsibility to protect the lives of those around him. Each blast he sent flying was another step in the fight for survival, but it was also another step closer to losing himself in the fury of his newfound strength. As the team fought valiantly, Eli had to make a choice. The bombardment was growing worse, and their chances of survival were slim. Some of the soldiers were already injured, unable to fight back. Eli could feel his energy reserves depleting, and he knew they couldn't hold out much longer. With the enemy forces closing in, Eli made the difficult decision to activate the warship's emergency escape pods. He signaled to his team, and with one last, powerful blast from his hand, he cleared the path to safety. The shockwave from the blast pushed back the alien forces long enough for the remaining soldiers to make it to the pods. Eli led the way, each step a reminder of the heavy cost of this war. As the pods launched into the sky, Eli looked back at the shattered remnants of the alien warship. The sky above was filled with smoke and the burning remains of the enemy fleet. The battle was far from over, but Eli had taken the first step in turning the tide. The fight for Earth had just begun, and this first showdown was a sign that humanity was ready to face the full wrath of the Galactic Council. But the road ahead was uncertain, and Eli knew that the war would only get more brutal from here. After the harrowing battles and the loss of his closest friends, Eli Harris stood at the precipice of something much greater than he could have ever imagined. He had embraced his newfound power, and now, he was beginning to understand it. Eli had learned that the energy surging from his hand wasn't just a weapon, it was a force that could be amplified. Not just from his own body, but from the very Earth itself. Eli discovered that Earth's natural resources could feed and amplify the energy in his hand. The planet's vast energy grids, its weather systems, and even the very atmosphere were capable of harnessing and fueling his powers. This connection between Eli and Earth itself was more than just a weapon, it was the key to humanity's survival. With each new surge of energy, Eli's hand crackled with more force, allowing him to push his abilities to new, unimaginable heights. At first, the humans were cautious, unsure of what this newfound power meant. But slowly, hope began to take root. For the first time, humanity had a weapon that could challenge the might of the Galactic Council. Eli was no longer just a soldier, he was Earth's secret weapon, the key to breaking the Council's stranglehold on humanity. As the planet began to see the rise of this new power, the morale of Earth's people shifted. They weren't just survivors anymore, they had a chance to win. Eli had given them hope, and with it, they prepared for the next stage of their battle. But the Galactic Council wasn't blind to what was happening. Commander Vark, still reeling from the devastation Eli had caused in their first encounter, knew that they had underestimated the humans. Eli's powers weren't just dangerous, they were a direct challenge to the Council's authority. The Galactic Council had always prided itself on its technological superiority, and they could not allow one human to threaten their control over the galaxy. In response, the Council deployed its most advanced weapon, an army of AI-controlled battle mechs. These towering machines of war were equipped with the most cutting-edge technology the Council had ever developed. They were designed to outclass any opponent, with powerful energy shields, advanced weaponry, and incredible speed. These mechs were the pinnacle of alien engineering, the Council's answer to the human anomaly they couldn't ignore. But the Council made a grave mistake, they had underestimated Eli's growing power. Unlike their cold, calculating machines, Eli was driven by raw emotion. The memories of his fallen comrades, the faces of Sergeant Bonner and the countless others who had sacrificed everything, burned in his heart. These losses fueled him, pushing him to become something greater than any soldier could ever be. His mission was clear, to protect humanity at all costs. As the AI-controlled mechs descended upon Earth, ready to crush any resistance, Eli knew that this battle would be unlike any other. He could sense the approaching machines from miles away, their cold metal bodies moving with terrifying precision. They were advanced, powerful, and deadly, but Eli wasn't alone. He had his powers, and he had a plan. Eli had learned to combine his unique abilities with the very technology the Council feared. Working with human engineers and scientists, Eli had helped to develop a fleet of AI-controlled robots of his own, machines designed to fight on his side. These robots, though not as powerful as the Council's mechs, were capable of adapting to Eli's power, allowing him to channel his energy through them, amplifying their abilities. Together, Eli and his army of robots became a formidable force, capable of going toe-to-toe with the Council's best. The first clash came on a barren, war-torn landscape. Eli stood at the forefront, his hand glowing with an intense energy that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the planet itself. He could feel the energy from the earth feeding him, and with a wave of his hand, he directed the first robot army into action. The mechs from the Galactic Council stormed the battlefield, their enormous metallic forms casting long shadows over the soldiers below. Eli didn't hesitate. He called upon the full strength of his powers, launching waves of destructive energy toward the advancing mechs. Each blast of energy felt like it came from the core of the earth itself, and with every shot, an alien machine was obliterated. The mechs, though formidable, couldn't withstand the raw power Eli unleashed. With each victory, his confidence grew, but so did the intensity of the battle. But the mechs weren't about to give up so easily. As the fight raged on, Eli faced off against more and more advanced machines, each one designed to counter his powers. The battle grew more personal with every strike. Each mech that fell was a victory for humanity, but with each victory, Eli felt the weight of his responsibility growing heavier. He was fighting not just for survival, but for the future of his species. The war had become a brutal dance between man and machine. Eli's hand crackled with energy as he struck down mech after mech, but he was also learning how to push his limits. Each battle was a lesson in strategy and power. He had to adapt quickly, finding new ways to counter the mech's advanced technology while using his growing abilities to destroy them. The mechs were relentless, but Eli was driven by the will to protect those he loved, and it made him stronger with each passing moment. As the battle wore on, Eli realized that he wasn't just fighting for his life or his team, he was fighting for the future of Earth. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders, and he was determined to turn the tide in their favor. With every mech he destroyed, the Council's hold on the galaxy weakened. But Eli knew that this was just the beginning. The war was far from over, and the Council would not rest until humanity was eradicated. But with his newfound power and the determination to protect Earth, Eli was ready for whatever came next. He had become humanity's greatest weapon, and no matter how powerful the Council's mechs were, he would keep fighting, because this was humanity's fight for survival, and they weren't going down without a fight. After all the battles, all the losses, and the growing sense of hope among humanity, the Galactic Council finally decided to send its ultimate weapon. The decision was simple but brutal: they would send their most powerful warrior, a genetically enhanced alien super soldier, to Earth to eliminate Eli Harris once and for all. This warrior was unlike anything humanity had faced before. A towering figure, with armored skin, enhanced strength, and reflexes far beyond any normal being, the alien soldier was designed for one purpose: to crush enemies like Eli. The Council believed that sending this warrior would end the human resistance. They had watched Eli's growing power with fear, but they were confident that their super soldier would be the last obstacle in their quest for control. The final battle would take place in the heart of Earth's capital, the city that symbolized humanity's last hope. As the alien super soldier landed in the city, the air seemed to crackle with tension. Eli, now more powerful than ever, stood ready to face this genetically enhanced foe. The world was watching, holding its breath, waiting to see if humanity could truly stand against such overwhelming power. The two warriors faced each other in the middle of a desolate city square, the ruins of a once bustling metropolis around them. The alien super soldier towered over Eli, its glowing eyes filled with cold, calculated menace. Eli, despite his injuries from previous battles, stood tall, his hand pulsing with the energy of Earth itself. He could feel the planet's power running through him, but even with all his strength, he knew this battle would be unlike any other. The fight began with an explosion of force. The alien super soldier charged forward, its massive fists swinging with deadly precision. Eli barely had time to react, but his reflexes, sharpened by the battles he had fought and the power he had unlocked, were quick enough to dodge the first few strikes. Each punch from the alien felt like a thunderclap, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Eli's body was pushed to its limits as he ducked and weaved, narrowly avoiding the powerful blows. Eli knew he couldn't just fight defensively. This wasn't just about survival, it was about the future of humanity. As the alien soldier advanced, Eli's mind raced. He couldn't let this creature reach him. His powers were growing, but so was the alien strength. He had to strike first, and strike hard. In a daring move, Eli surged forward, his hand glowing brighter than ever. The energy coursing through him was almost unbearable, but he channeled it all into his fist, striking the alien warrior with a brutal punch. The force of the blow was so intense that it sent shockwaves through the city, causing nearby buildings to collapse. But the alien didn't fall. Instead, it staggered, momentarily stunned, before quickly recovering and retaliating with a savage counterattack. The two warriors clashed in a whirlwind of violence. They moved like lightning, each one trying to gain the upper hand. Eli's hand crackled with energy, sending blasts of raw power at the alien. Each strike shattered the ground, the air filled with the deafening sounds of destruction. But the alien soldier was relentless, its genetically enhanced body withstanding the blows and responding with its own devastating attacks. Buildings around them crumbled as the two combatants continued their brutal hand-to-hand combat. The city, once a symbol of hope for humanity, became a battleground where the fate of the Earth would be decided. Energy blasts lit up the sky, and debris flew in all directions as the warriors clashed with unimaginable force. It was a fight to the death, and only one would emerge victorious. Eli could feel his strength beginning to wane. The injuries from previous battles, combined with the sheer force of this final confrontation, were taking their toll. His body was battered, his movements slowing, but his resolve remained strong. He could not afford to lose, not now, not when humanity's future was at stake. The alien super soldier, sensing Eli's exhaustion, pressed its advantage, pushing Eli back with a series of devastating blows. Eli stumbled, his vision blurring, but he refused to fall. He knew that this was the moment where everything would be decided. In an act of desperation, Eli gathered every last ounce of his energy. He could feel the power of the earth coursing through him, stronger than ever before. His hand crackled with raw energy, and in that moment, Eli unleashed everything he had. With a final, earth-shattering strike, Eli plunged his hand into the alien warrior's defenses, breaking through its energy shields and landing a blow that sent the super soldier flying backward. The impact of the attack was so immense that the alien warrior crashed into a nearby building, causing a massive explosion. The ground trembled beneath Eli's feet as the shockwave rippled through the city. Dust and debris filled the air as Eli stood there, his breath heavy, his body trembling from the exertion. For a long moment, there was silence. The only sound was Eli's labored breathing and the distant sounds of the crumbling city. He looked around, his heart pounding in his chest. The alien warrior lay defeated, its body crumpled and motionless. Eli had won. But the victory came at a terrible cost. Eli collapsed to his knees, blood dripping from his wounds. His body was battered, and every movement sent waves of pain through him. His hand, once a symbol of power, now felt heavy and lifeless. The battle had taken everything from him, his strength, his energy, and his comrades. But despite the pain, Eli knew that the battle was over. The alien super soldier had been defeated, and with it, the last hope of the Galactic Council had crumbled. Humanity had won, but at great cost. As Eli's vision blurred and he felt his body give way, he smiled. Earth had survived, and humanity had proven that, no matter the odds, they would never be defeated. The Galactic Council, once so confident in their advanced technology and vast fleets, had been shattered by the unexpected might of humanity. Their forces, which had been overwhelming at the start, were now retreating. Despite the devastation they had caused and the countless lives lost, the Council was unwilling to admit true defeat. They were retreating for now, but they would not forget the strength Earth had shown. As their fleets pulled back into the darkness of space, the Council delivered a final, chilling message to humanity: "You may have won this time, but we will return." The message echoed through Earth's communication systems, a reminder that while humanity had won a great battle, the war was far from over. It was a challenge, a promise of future conflict. But in that moment, Earth could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The celebrations were loud and heartfelt, a chorus of joy from every corner of the planet. Humanity had fought against overwhelming odds and won. Cities that had once been devastated by the war now rang with cheers. Families reunited, soldiers were honored, and the world marveled at their survival. The human spirit had proven itself stronger than even the most advanced alien civilizations. The victory, however, was bittersweet. For Eli, the victory felt hollow. As the man who had led humanity's charge, he stood at the center of the celebrations, a hero in the eyes of the world. But his mind was clouded with the weight of the losses he had endured. His body was broken, his energy drained, and his mind weighed down by the memories of his fallen comrades, especially Sergeant Bonner, his closest friend. Bonner's death had haunted Eli throughout the battle, and it now loomed large in his thoughts. He remembered their conversations, the shared moments of camaraderie, and the way Bonner had fought beside him, giving his life to defend Earth. The sense of loss was almost unbearable, and Eli knew that even though they had won, the cost had been far greater than anyone truly realized. He walked alone to the outskirts of the celebration, away from the jubilant crowds, needing a moment of solitude. His body was battered, covered in the scars of battle, and his once powerful hand now felt weak, the energy he had channeled so many times now nearly depleted. His heart was heavy, but there was also a sense of pride. They had won, against all odds. Earth had survived. But the battle had taken everything from him. His body was broken, and his spirit had been tested beyond measure. He knew the price of victory, and he wasn't sure he would ever feel whole again. But there was one thing he did know for certain: Earth had proven itself. It had shown that even against the might of the galaxy, humanity was not to be underestimated. As Eli gazed up at the stars, he knew that this was only the beginning. The war was far from over. The Galactic Council's retreat was not an end, but a pause, a temporary setback. They would return, and humanity would have to face them again. But for now, Earth had time to rebuild, to honor the fallen, and to prepare for whatever came next. The stars above seemed so distant, almost mocking in their quiet beauty. They had watched as Earth endured unspeakable suffering, as Eli and his team fought and bled for their survival. And yet, despite everything, humanity had stood tall. They had survived. Eli closed his eyes, letting the cool night air wash over him. The war had taken so much from him, from his friends, and from the planet, but humanity had proven that it would not go quietly into the night. They had stood their ground, against enemies that seemed invincible, and emerged victorious. He thought of Bonner again and the others who had fallen, knowing they had given everything for this moment. With a deep breath, Eli turned away from the stars and walked back toward the city. The celebrations were still in full swing, but his role in it all was clear. He had led humanity to victory, but the true heroism had come from the countless soldiers, civilians, and fighters who had fought alongside him. They, too, were part of the victory, and they were the ones who had truly won the war. Eli knew that, for now, Earth would be safe. But as long as the Galactic Council still existed, the battle would never be truly over. His role in the war might be over for now, but he could not forget the looming threat that still hung over the planet. His journey was far from finished, and as much as he longed for peace, he knew that the next fight was already on the horizon. The story of humanity's resistance would not end with this victory. It was only the beginning of something much larger. And Eli, despite the pain and the loss, would be ready. The future was uncertain, but as long as humans stood together, they would always have the strength to face the unknown. With that thought, Eli stepped into the future, knowing that no matter the cost, humanity would continue to fight, to survive, and to protect the home they had won.